Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Sunday morning. Wanted to give myself just like a sleep and then talk about what we saw for the Miami Hurricanes last night. Honestly, just to put it frankly, one of the biggest coaching malpractices that I've ever seen as a college football fan. I've watched a lot of college football, and that was about as ugly as it's gotten. Mario Cristobal just looking stunned on the sideline. Going to give you guys some of the takeaways from that, and then kind of where does Miami go from here? Because I'll tell you this right now, went back and watched the full game. This is as bad as they played, turning the ball over like they did, this Miami Hurricanes team is really damn good. They lost a game kind of, and Dill, you said it before we went live. Like, there's not many situations where you just point the finger and say, like, that's on you. I mean, that's just straight on the coaching staff for not taking the knees. We'll get into that. Now, before we do again, just want to say thank you to the Miami fans. Y'all know, like, I've loved talking about this team. I was rooting for them last night, and just a heartbreaker. Stared at my phone for like an hour in disbelief. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, Miami fans, like, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. Obviously, if it's just venting, we'll vent with you guys in the comment section. Dill, gonna kick this one, give you the tee box here. Start with Mario Cristobal on the knees. I mean, what were your kind of overall takes here after sleeping on it?
Well, there is no take for the not taking a knee. That's
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
still,
again,
dude, it's 12 hours from now, and I still don't know what to say.
in my this to me feels like this will be a monster moment in the Mario Cristobal tenure at Miami, because I got the sense like you saw guys on the sideline and how heartbroken they were, and you heard the interviews with Mario Cristobal, which he didn't provide any explanation. You heard some of the players; they didn't seem to have an explanation. It's like, this feels like, to me, like, again, you say, when you can really just point the finger at a coach and be like, well, that loss is 150% on you. That's a really odd spot to be in. And for players to go play through that much adversity where your quarterback's playing that poorly, and to go like win a game, like, that's what good teams do. And then to have your coach do that, it's inexplicable. And Mario Cristobal, like, again, this is still a really good team. They go out and beat UNC. Everything's kind of in front of them. But this is a monster moment for Mario Cristobal, it feels like, in terms of like losing locker room. And I know that's like a cliche quote, but I mean, this is one of those weird instances where I think you can really let things snowball, because I got to think these players are furious about what happened.
That's kind of where I'm at, is like my biggest worry, because it's not like I can get like the initial reactions of like fire Mario Cristobal's guy. Like, that is, I mean, like, I say this kidding, but not kidding, like a fireable offense for a coach there. That being said, like, you're not going to fire him. This program's clearly moving in the right direction. What was most frustrating for me is taking the presser, like, no explanation. Like, whether it was what to get Don Chaney over 100 yards, like, I get it. The dude's been through so many injuries, and you wanted to give him a touch. Like, okay, but he didn't have any. And it was like, oh, we should have taken a timeout to recalibrate. You don't need to take a timeout to recalibrate. That is fifth grade math. You take a knee and you win the football game. I mean, just the most frustrating part is he had no response or reason for what he was doing.
And that's one thing I will say. Like, if he gave his players a real response, like, I bundled it. I thought, like, the play clock for this, and I did this. It's like, if he just like misread, I mean, it's inexcusable for sure. But if he gave a response that at least makes like, oh, well, at least he was thinking about something, and it wasn't just totally insanity.
Yeah.
But I think, to me, you got to get up there and tell the media something, because like the fans, I think the fans frankly deserve it.
They deserve it. 100%.
Deserve something, and they also didn't really have a response. So maybe there was something in the locker room, but I think that should have been made public, because again, that's a team that went out there and battled through a really difficult game where your quarterback was playing really bad, and essentially, to me, it feels like the players won it, and then you're not going to see it on the record because of the coaches.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I feel like that reason should be made public. If you had a reason and you weren't just like one of my takes is, you have so many assistants that you have on staff that are like paid to be there in that moment where it's like, hey, Mario Cristobal is in the heat of the battle. You got to have someone in the polo shirt saying, hey, we taking these and we're winning this game. It was ugly, but let's just get to the locker room here. None. I mean, like, did somebody tell him just let's take knees, and he utterly ignored it? If he did that, like, you have to have some sort of explanation for the fans. Like you complain about not selling out the stadium, like then tell them what happened, because that is, I mean, like again, this is a reason
it just can't happen. And again,
the,
the fans do deserve to know. They deserve to know.
This is the reason why I slept on it. Like I wanted to get a midnight last night. Wanted to go in on a tire. I was like, let's listen to what Mario Cristobal has to say. Let's get a little 8 hours of sleep, recalibrate. And I still like, I don't have anything. All right, Dill, we talk about that. Like we can't get in Mario Cristobal's head and know what he was thinking. My kind of my ending take on that, and then we'll move forward here is you're not firing Mario Cristobal, even though it's a fireable offense. This program is still going in the right direction.
This team's really, really good. I think you talk about future, the future definitely looks bright. But to me, this season looks very bright. If they can, and this will be kind of that watershed moment. They need to like kind of rally together and get the train back on the tracks. But you look, this defense is exceptional. I thought they played incredible all night. I thought that the way they were able to run the ball and being physical in the trenches, despite not really having a passing attack. Again, they were moving. I guess they had a lot of yards.
Everything
else was working besides the
look at the total yards. I mean, they outgained Georgia Tech by 200 yards. Again, you talk about coaching. Like, you should not be outgaining a team by 200 yards and losing a football game. I mean, it's the same deal. We had Mario Cristobal, the best recruiter in the game, and we commended him for bringing in Shannon Dawson and guys around him to help him manage the game. But that's our biggest question mark, and it's still our biggest question mark to this day is Mario Cristobal with the headset on Saturdays. It's just not good enough, and it's got to get better. I will say this game in this instance, in this circumstance, couldn't come better. It couldn't come at a better time. Like if you had this going into a bye week and you had to sit on this for 14 days, and that's when I could see it getting ugly. The thing for Miami is they're waking up today. They're going to go through a light practice and start prepping for a North Carolina team that might find themselves in the top 10 of the AP poll. It's a nice spot to kind of turn this program in like, hey, we got a big task in 7 days. Let's go get ready and kind of, I guess, try to forget about what happened.
And again, well, to me, it's like you go win the game against UNC. It doesn't not matter, but in the scheme of things, it really doesn't. Like, again, to me, they go beat UNC. Again, everything's ahead of them. And I don't want to lose sight of the fact that I think they actually played as a team really good. Obviously, Tyler Van Dyke, inexcusable mistakes, and Mario Cristobal, inexcusable mistake. But pretty much everyone else on that field was playing awesome, I thought. And that to me is like the encouraging part, whatever you want to say it. But this is a team that can go do really good things this year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they go do against UNC. Like that game now gets really intriguing to me is like, again, because you're looking at a Miami team that I think is really good. I think should beat UNC just on paper probably.
Yes.
But now you kind of have an added wrinkle. I'm excited to see what they do.
I can't wait we're going to preview that game tomorrow, and it's going to be extremely – because I'll say it right now, I think I'm going to pick Miami in that game. Like,
they're so good, and that front four is so good for Miami, and they were so dominant in that game. And I mean, the safeties are just they're the best in the country.
James Williams putting it together. Like I love. There are some bright things that can't overshadow what you saw, but like this, I will close it out here. Like this team has a lot in front of them. It's a really good team. Obviously, an inexcusable mistake, and this thing goes two ways. And it's for the Mario Cristobal era, and I don't think I'm being dramatic, right? He could either really lose the locker room, and this Miami team looks really ugly to finish out the season, or they rebound, they galvanize the troops, and do something special the back half of the season. But it kind of all falls on Mario Cristobal and this coaching staff's shoulders. How strong is this culture? We're going to find out really, really quickly. I'm excited to see what Miami can bring next Saturday. We're going to preview that game tomorrow. Miami fans wanted to hop on. We talked so much Miami football. We couldn't skip out on talking about this. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.